Hi everybody, this is Amanda Ellis of amandaellis.co.uk, Facebook page Angelic Celestial Colours, and you're watching me on YouTube, and my YouTube channel is Amanda Ellis 11. Welcome. This is a second video for April 2017. The first one, which I uploaded last night, the camera froze at 33 minutes in. So we lost about 10 minutes of the video. I would encourage you to watch the first video because I'm going to just carry on assuming that you've watched that. Otherwise, it might feel a bit random what I'm talking about. So watch the first video and we are going to carry on. It was very interesting that it froze at 33 minutes, which is obviously a master number. It also froze as I was just about to show you quite an important crystal, which is the Ankh crystal that I have bought myself. I'm actually not going to reveal it in this video. I have shown some pictures of it on Facebook. It's just because I feel as though it was premature, because there is still a lot of new information coming through about the new work on the Ankh that I want to do. I got some new information this morning, for example, a really lovely meditation to gift to you. But anyway, there is a time and there is a place to be doing that, and I feel as though Metatron was saying, hold on, not quite yet. So that will come. The other thing is that the video froze on the vibration of surrender, and when I went to bed last night, I hadn't fully appreciated that. But waking up this morning and re-looking at the video and the way it stopped, and the fact that I was actually holding up this card, which is the card of surrender. I've just taken my dog for a walk, and the more that I've been thinking about it, there's a lot of guidance come in. So that's what this video is about. And I also want to talk about the energy of peace, which was the other card that I didn't get to. And it feels as though this is quite important information. Sorry, that's the card of peace. So before I do anything, I am just going to spray the magenta energy around myself. Those of you that like to use the colour sprays linked into the messages on the videos, I'm using two. I'm using magenta, which is the energy of divine love, and I'm going to be using the energy of sapphire peace in this video as well. So I feel as though these are colours for the month ahead. So let's just spray the magenta for one moment around myself and just allow that to come in as an energy into our recording. And the energy of magenta, more than anything for me, when this was created, and it's been an energy that's really persevered and carried on, I found it to be a wonderful energy to help us to be present, to actually be fully present, to slow down, to stop, to pause, and to appreciate really the moment that you are in. And it feels as though it's linked to this energy of surrender. Okay, now I've written a few notes down because, as I say, Metatron was chatting away to me, and they're not in any necessary order. There were a few things that happened on my walk. One thing he told me is that if we think about surrender, so many of us are scared to do that. And I posted a quote today on my Facebook page, which I'm just going to read to you. It's not my quote. It looks like it's from somebody's workshop, and I would credit them if I could, but it was just a Google image that I found. It's about the law of surrender. I just want to read this to you. It says, when we stop resisting and surrender to the situation exactly as it is, things begin to change. Resistance is the #1 culprit in denying us our right to heal. We resist out of fear that if we let go, if we surrender, our lives will go out of control, or we will be faced with circumstances that we can't handle. And when we are willing to look at our situation and admit that we don't know how to fix it, we are ready to get the help we need. That really spoke to me this morning. And I'd just like you to think, before we discuss that, about what area of life you are being asked this April and going forward probably over the next few months that you are being asked to surrender. Now, it feels as though it could be in many different areas. It could be to do with a lifestyle change that you need to make, an old way of being that you need to let go of. Could be related to, for example, health or fitness or diet. It could be related to the big things like relationship. It could be related to job change, career change. I was remembering during my walk today that I had a very, very enjoyable and satisfying career before I started this, doing market research. I was a marketing manager and I used to love the work. It was very creative. And but I just reached the end of the road with it, and by the end of my career there was about a period of probably a year where I really wasn't very satisfied with what I was doing. And I remember just that energy of having to go into the office every day, counting the hours, you know, till the bell went at the end of the day and you could be released into freedom. And just feeling completely and utterly stuck and not knowing where I was supposed to be going, what I was supposed to be doing. And I think that's probably resonating with some of you out there. It can also be true of relationship. It can be to do with many other areas of life. But I'm wanting you to think about, what is it that you are being asked to surrender? And it feels more than anything as though many of us have been trying to find a solution to something from an earthly perspective, okay? From an earthly perspective. And you're going to say, well, of course it's going to be an earthly perspective. You're here on earth, Amanda. It's not what I mean. What I'm trying to get to is that sometimes the solutions that we seek to the things that we are really stuck on require divine assistance to come in and help us. It cannot help us if we are still holding on to the reins of control. Using an analogy, if I look at the way my life is at the moment, there are still things I need to surrender to in my life, but in terms of my working life and my career, things are flowing really well, and I love my work, and it's all great. But I've only got to this place really by completely surrendering into what Spirit wanted me to do. If you'd asked me 10 years ago whether I'd be doing this, I would have said no. There was no earthly course, there was no earthly map to follow. There was just the divine that came in and said, actually, we're going to push you in a slightly different way, and we're going to show you that actually you can make a difference in a different way, and we're going to bring people to you that can help you, and we're going to show you experiences and opportunities that you've never dreamed of. Now, none of that could have been planned from my mind, okay? It had to come from a different place, and that's where this energy of magenta is really important this month, because it's called divine love, and it's about surrendering the control, being able to pause and be in the moment to do that in the first place, and then allow the divine in that has actually got the answers. If we go back to that quote that I read you, it talks about why we resist letting go and surrendering is because we fear that somehow if we do that, our lives are going to go out of control and we're going to be faced with circumstances that we can't handle. It comes back to that energy I was talking about in video 1 of supernatural power coming in, which can also come into either path that you're on, path 2 or path 3, the gentle climb or the steep climb, which is where the divine sees that you've tried your hardest and that there isn't an answer here on earth, and so therefore a divine answer has to come in. I was thinking about this, and again I use my own life just as an analogy, hopefully to help you understand the concepts that Metatron is bringing up here. But I've had something in my own life that I've been struggling with for a good few years, and it's as though I have looked at it from every single perspective that you could possibly look at it from an earthly perspective. You know, I've taken the advice, I've sought guidance, I have tried to sort it out with my mind, with my rational thought process. It's been a bit like a journey into Lord of the Rings type territory. You know, it's like searching high and low, and of course the answer isn't there, because the answer has to come basically from this place of surrendering, where you basically say, I don't actually know anymore how to sort this out, I don't know how to solve this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you, dear Metatron, to come in and to show me the way. And you can only do that, he will only do that, if you surrender all control, okay? And it's a biggie. The other thing that he said to me this morning is that whatever it is that you are being asked to surrender, wherever it is that you are stuck on your path, please remember that you are probably stuck at a place where your ancestors before you were stuck, okay? So remember, we were talking yesterday about sometimes we're walking this path. Obviously there's a lot of karma involved during this time. We're clearing a lot of karma, not just for ourselves but for others as well. But I was clearly shown that the place that many of us are stuck at is if you take the analogy of a pathway, it's as though we're on this mountain ledge or hill ledge, and we've paused. We're stuck at exactly the place that our ancestors got stuck at. So if you take the analogy of relationship, it may well have been, if you look at the pattern of relationship in your family line, it may have been either along the female line or the male line. There was a pattern of settling for second best, settling or compromising, never having actually aspired even to, let alone achieved, a divine love connection with another. There may well have been patterns of abuse, whether physical, emotional or mental, that were put up with. And there is no judgment on any of that, because our ancestors lived in a different age, with different expectations and with different opportunities. We have many more opportunities than they did, and we are being asked to live or to walk upon an ascension path, whether we're going for the soft climb or the steep climb. That's what we're doing. And so when Metatron talks about challenges and you know, the fact that we're stuck because there's this big challenge in the way, please remember that actually you've signed up for all of this. You know, we are on an ascension path, and it hasn't been done before on this planet in this way, with the bodies that we have at the moment. But we are better equipped than we have ever been before, is what he's saying. He's also asking you to just think about that ancestral link, okay? And more than anything, to realise that your ancestors are actually willing you on. They want you to succeed. They want you to climb higher than they were able to. And they are cheering you on. So there is no resistance from the other side of the veil to this. Even if maybe you had a difficult relationship with an ancestor, and many of you aren't going to know the ancestors that are cheering you on, because there's such a long line of them and you're not going to know them, but energetically you are connected to them. But say there are a few ancestors that you do know of and maybe you had a problem with. The thing is, when we pass over the veil, there is healing that occurs. And so after a period of time, they come to that place of unconditional love again, and realization of maybe what they did wrong in this lifetime and what needs to be put right now for the generation that is alive on this planet. I've always had a sense of that myself within my own family line. Particularly with regard to my paternal grandmother, who died young and quite tragically, and had an unhappy life really to a large degree. But I've always got this huge sense from her that she is proud of the fact that there is now this new generation of her family line still alive on the planet, still having what I want to, almost like I can hear her saying, having another go at it, having another crack at it, you know. And what she found so difficult to face, to heal, there is another generation here now who are better equipped with better energy around them, and they can do it for themselves, but they also do it for her and all of the other ancestors. So remember that as well, the ancestral line support that is there for you. Let them help you, but you're often stuck where your ancestors got stuck, okay? And we can ask Archangel Metatron to help heal that, but it is through a place of surrender, okay? Bringing in the magenta ray and just surrendering to the situation that you find yourself in. And actually, this is where you have to suspend ego, because ego always likes to think it knows the right answer. And you may be in a situation where you don't actually know what the right answer is. You don't know what the next step is. And that's what I mean. There is no earthly map. There is no earthly guide who can say to you, yep, you need to do that. That's why the whole old area of sort of psychic predictions don't really work anymore, because the assistance that's coming in now for us on our ascension path comes in from the divine. So surrender into that divinity that wants to help you. Also, another lovely thing that happened on my walk today was I was walking down a hill, and Bella was pulling on the lead. You know, I was trying to keep hold of her, and I was listening to my music. I was in my own little world really, and tuning into Metatron, and beautiful sunshine, and I could see this woman coming up the hill towards me on a bicycle. But I didn't really pay much attention to it. But as she sort of went past me, she said, "Hello, Amanda," and I realised I knew her, and it was a friend. And I said, "Oh, hi," you know, and she said, "I can't stop. If I stop now, I'm never going to start again." And what she meant by that was that she was cycling up this hill, and so if she stopped her bicycle, she wasn't ever going to get the momentum to keep carrying on to the summit of the hill. And I thought that was quite a nice analogy, actually, because what Metatron is saying is that some of us, whether we're on the soft climb or the steep climb, it's okay to just pause and take in the view and recharge, but some of us have sort of stopped for a little bit too long, you know, and we've lost the momentum, and we've lost the passion and the drive that we had at the start when we began the journey up the hill or the mountain. So I loved that analogy, and it did feel a Metatronic link actually, because the lady I'm talking about is actually Hannah's mother, who some of you may remember from my Facebook page. Lots of people sent healing to Hannah last year with regard to a heart operation, and it was pretty miraculous what happened actually. So my friend, I don't think she maybe fully realises what a sort of warrior woman she is, but I loved that. You know, if I stop now, I'm never going to start again, so I've got to keep on going. It was perfect, just as I was thinking about what I wanted to say to you. The other thing I want to say about surrender, well, not necessarily about surrender, but just as I'm in the flow of what I'm talking about here, is I mentioned in video 1 and didn't expand on it, that others depend on you doing it, okay? And what I meant by that is I think it's called the 100 monkey syndrome or the 1,000 monkey syndrome, which is this theory, but it's not really theory, it's actually reality, which is that if enough people get it, by the law of, well, I don't know what the law is, but the law basically dictates that if enough of us get it in terms of a consciousness, a behaviour, then by this law, then everybody else gets a bit of the same. I'm not explaining it particularly well, but you can research it yourself. I'm sure it's called the 100 monkey syndrome or 1,000 monkey syndrome, and it's all to do with evolution basically, and it's to do with the fact that if one animal and it was based on obviously monkeys, but I'm talking about human beings here. If one of us exhibits a behavior or achieves something, then it makes it more feasible for the rest of us to do so. Metatron's helping me out here because he knows I'm struggling. He's talking about the minute mile, you know, so the person who was able to not the minute mile, he's talking about the 100-meter race, whoever it was who basically, you know, first crashed through the speed barrier and was able to achieve 100 meters in however many seconds that was. They made it possible for everybody else to do it because they raised the bar. That's what I'm trying to basically say to you. So by you achieving what you set out to achieve, you are raising the bar for others, and by others we're talking about future generations, okay? So it's really important that what we set out to achieve, we actually do. And that's why we get the supernatural, the divine help coming in to help us, because it's not just about us, okay? I'm just going to pause my camera here. Okay, we're back. And I want to move on. I want to look at the next card that we didn't get to yesterday. And it makes sense that we didn't get to it yesterday because it is the energy of peace, okay? The energy of peace. Now, if you think about peace, you can't really have peace until you have actually surrendered, can you? Because until you surrender, you are in a state of turmoil, confusion. You are not at peace, basically. And so the back of the card says, when we balance silence with activity, we discover true peace of mind, the source of all joy and happiness. But I'm really feeling, you know, the overall message I'm getting here is that we can't have peace until we have surrendered, which is almost, I feel almost as though why this energy was cut off from us. I'm going to spray the sapphire peace spray at this point, and we will see for a message. We will feel for a message. So this is sapphire peace. And actually, before I say anything, it's interesting because obviously I created these sprays a while back and they were named. And we've got magenta, which is divine love, and we have sapphire, which is divine peace. Isn't that beautiful? Divine peace and divine love. These are the two energies that we need this month to help us through our life. So I want to spray both together. Let's put divine love. If you just sit down and or just settle in terms of whatever you're doing, just allow the magenta ray to come in. And it feels as though the magenta ray wants to come up from the earth for a change. And that's because magenta carries a lot of red energy. And so it has a groundingness to it. It's got a groundedness. So I'd like you just to feel into the roots that are underneath you and take them deep down into Mother Earth. And for the first time, start to dip into a huge reservoir that is underneath the earth. And this is a magenta pool. A deep, majestic magenta pool, and it holds the energy of divine magenta love. And literally, as though you are the most thirsty plant, the most thirsty tree on the planet, your roots start to soak up, drink up this beautiful magenta energy, and it comes up through your earth star, which is underneath your feet. It comes through the soles of your feet, magenta light flowing up into your skeletal system, into your bones, into your joints, up into the ankles, the knees, the hips, the wrists, the shoulders, the neck, and the whole cranial area of the head space. But the magenta light is flowing up from the earth, this rich magenta pool of energy. And with it comes stillness, comes presence, comes surrender. And you feel the energy of that surrender being possible because you have within your system the magenta ray. Loved, supported, held. And then you become aware of the most beautiful sapphire orb, huge sapphire orb above your crown. It's as though it's the most beautiful sparkling sapphire cloud. But it isn't heavy, it's light. And it contains the energy of peace. And this sapphire cloud starts to gently rain down over you. It rains down over your aura. It rains down your back. You put your face up to feel the sapphire raindrops on your face. You feel the sapphire raindrops flowing down your throat, down into your heart. You allow this sapphire, peaceful rain to flow wherever it needs to flow. And it takes away every last bit of control. Peace and surrender merging into one energy. Sapphire and magenta around you, within you, above you, and underneath you. You embody divine love and divine peace. And you say aloud, I am divine love. I am divine peace. We are divine love. We are divine peace. And then you take that energy of divine love and divine peace to the situation, the person, the habit, the behaviour in your life that you find most challenging, or the place where you are stuck. And to that you say, you are divine love, you are divine peace. And those energies come in and they lift the whole vibration of whatever you find most difficult. Magenta and sapphire energy flowing through, lightening the load, dismantling, disintegrating, dissolving, healing that feeling of stuckness. And then I'd like you to see yourself on a bridge. Metatron uses the bridge a lot. So we're on a bridge and we have the past, the present and the future. The past is behind you, the present is where you are at, and the future lies waiting for you. Metatron comes to you in the present moment. He takes your hand. He enfolds you with his love. And he encourages, cajoles, moves you one step forward towards your future, respecting the past, being in the present moment, but yet also aware of the future horizon before you. Metatron is within your past, your present, and your future. Metatron is within your past, your present, and your future. You sink into his energy and you surrender. What will be, and you give thanks and praise to this beautiful energy that loves you so divinely, unconditionally, and is there now, right now, through this month, through this year. And then you just take a nice deep breath in and out. You come back to this moment and you can feel the balance that these two energies have given you. The peaceful sapphire and the groundedness of the magenta. Okay, I feel what would be nice now then is just to pull a final card for this video, and we'll go from the same pack. Okay, so let's just see what the final message is, having done that work. And I don't know about you, but I feel a lot better having surrendered, and we'll see, won't we? We'll see where it leads us. Okay, final card or energy, Metatron. We have the energy of mirror. Okay, and it says, learn to see God's presence in everyone you meet. I'm sure that this card's come up before as well. And I think that's also important, that we realise that if we're in a difficult situation, whether it is a job, whether it's to do with a person, particularly those two things, but there will be other instances, it's to do with whatever challenges you, you look at that and you see the mirror within yourself, okay? So for example, taking it into the realm of personal relationships, if you see weakness in another and you judge that, you need to start looking at your own weakness. And through that, you start to heal that. Not so that the other person gets healed, because we can't really ever heal another person. Everyone has to heal themselves. You can facilitate and help them, but everyone has to take 100% responsibility. It's more that if we go with the analogy of judging somebody else's behaviour, once we start to heal it within ourselves, we are not then going to be exposed to the same lesson that comes up again. We're not going to have the same obstacle that comes up. We will have transcended that. You know, we will have learnt from that. We will have grown from that. We will have evolved from that. So please remember that whatever you're facing this April, rather than just denying self wisdom, really, whatever challenges you, start to look at it and really feel for, okay, what is this teaching me? What do I need to look at within myself about this? And helping to heal that. Sort of a whole other subject in itself, really, a whole other video, the whole thing about mirroring. And of course there is a famous book out there, isn't there, which is the Zero Limits book by Joe Vitale. Those of you that know that, you know, please forgive me. No, what is it? I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. It's that mantra that we say or we integrate into ourselves for anything that challenges us. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, something like that. I'm doing it off the hoof here, so you have to excuse me. But anyway, the book is Zero Limits by Joe Vitale. And that's probably leading us into our next video, actually. But anyway, I'm going to leave it here for now. And I'm going to wish you a good April. Much love to all of you. Bye-bye for now.